Post covering finance and
shocking, absolutely shocking. Get a lot of place influencers that have been living there a lot of attention. But what I saw was on my ex handle.
These latest moves with regard to advertised price guides. So New South Wales property sellers will be forced to advertise their price guide, and real estate agents who break new underquoting laws will be fined 3 times their commission in legislation to be introduced this week. That's according to a recent article. And the new laws will stop agents from advertising a sale price lower than a previously rejected written offer or the highest unsuccessful bid at an auction. And there are penalties for dummy bidding as well. And of course, Victoria has gone down somewhat the same route here. And I suppose superficially, Edwin, you might think, well, this may sound like progress with regards to dealing with the underquoting. But actually, of course, it's a question of, will there be follow through or not? Because as you said in your tweet, you can say for years, increase the fines and prosecute troublemakers, and we may begin to see some change. May, though, rests on what, Edwin?
What you and I and others we've been talking about for a number of years collectively, and I've been talking about this since 2010, 2012. And talk about the underquoting and all the new programs, all the new legislation, all the new regulations, all the new plans, all the new this and the new that. It's not going to work. You can even increase the fines to $300,000. Yeah, it'll make something twice before they do it. But guess what, Martin? Unless you've got a real workforce policing. The regulators policing the industry in the way that they should be doing. Unless you're going to have that, well, you've got you can whistle Dixie. Right, so that's the first thing that's got to happen. You've got to have real people on the ground in order to make things, to make it happen. The other thing is you've also got to have the real estate industry itself needs to push against the bad apples in the bunch. Collectively, there has to be a collective, and I can assure you that from my conversations in the industry with my colleagues. The people that I keep in contact with, everyone, in my discussion, I would say that 60 to 70% at minimum would agree with us that collectively we should create a collective voice, a unified voice, and speak out against, and be the ones that speak against, or you could say dob in. I don't really want to use the word dob in, but we should take have a collective voice to curb these issues. And until we have that, it's not going to happen, Martin. It's not going to happen. And I liken it to when Mum and Dad split up, we ended up in the West, behind Cabramatta Matter, and at that time, I grew up around that area. I spent a few years in that before I left home. I spent a few years there, and I got to see the other actually mix around with some of the T5 gangs, and in my late teens, early 20s, got to know quite a few of them. And if you recall back then, the Cabramatta was the epicenter, was the capital, the drug capital of Australia. It made global, global news. Even that politician that got murdered at his front door. Can't remember his name, but I was around there at that time, and it wasn't what changed Cabramatta, what changed the landscape, what changed the value of the commercial property there in Cabramatta itself, was the Vietnamese community itself became the police force that enforced, not physically, but they pushed the gangs out. It was the own Vietnamese community that pushed the T5 gangs out and all the other drug-related gangs out of the area, because they just had enough. So I sort of liken it to that, and this is what the real estate industry needs to do: is we need to have a collective voice and push these charlatans out of the industry. Right. So unless we've got those two elements, or the higher, as I say, how can I put it? Trying to be very diplomatic.